Hi everyone and welcome to Theory Lesson 1, Unit 1 for the flying start, gliding, and welcome particularly to our new students. This unit is called Vision and Lookout. It's a little bit of an introduction to getting our situational awareness set and our mindsets in so that we can stay safe. So lookout pretty much means keep your eyes peeled, look outside the cockpit. A lot of people tend to focus inside, and we want to make sure you enjoy the scenery, but also can spot any potential hazards like other aircraft. So that's what we're looking for. Other aircraft, particularly on our horizon, but coming in any direction. We don't always see them if they're stationary, if they appear stationary in our canopy. We want to avoid collisions. We train this very early so that you know right from the onset we are looking after your safety, and you can look after your own safety if you can watch for these hazards. And that's why we want you to stay safe. So when you do look out, you can move your eyes. So left and right and up and down, of course. Your best vision is right in front of your field of view, as you can see in these little diagrams, and you have some peripheral vision. But to get that best vision front and center, you must move your head. So moving your head to the point you wish to look out, that's important. It's also to actually stop and focus, not just look or move your head without looking. And as I said in the previous slide, peripheral vision detects movement, but aircraft on a collision course actually don't appear to move. They just get bigger and have what's known as the bloom effect. So here is a slide showing the bloom effect animated wise and the time it takes before you have an impact. 14 seconds, you'll see a small aircraft, and then 7 seconds to impact, 4 seconds to impact, and the aircraft just appears to get bigger until, of course, we have an impact. And it's those last couple of seconds that we might be saying something like, oh, I saw it getting bigger, and then it hit me. So we want to avoid that, so you do have to keep a good lookout. So you prime your brain in order to expect to see what you otherwise would not see. So expect to see aircraft, birds, clouds, and take a broader view. Look at things big and focus down to things that are small. So for example, we could watch this selective attention video that's on the YouTube. Which I'll send you a link to because it's quite good, but it teaches you about what to look for. When you're looking for something in particular, you miss other things. Focus. Just moving your head around about, you actually don't see anything. So aircraft on the horizon are actually at the same height as you, so look at the horizon and pause a second or two at each point as you look. Aircraft above and below are less likely to be on a collision course. However, you will see them, so you can look slightly above and slightly below the horizon. If you focus on something specific, you will avoid what's called empty field myopia. If the eye doesn't actually stimulate to focus at a particular thing, it rests at a focal point of about a meter away. So a stimulated eye is likely to see something that is in the air than one that is just moving around. So look at the hills and stop and pause and look at a hill. Look at a town, a forest, a building. Even your wingtip is further away than 1 meter, and that can help stimulate the eye's long distance vision. If you do look at something and a glider is moving or an aircraft is moving in front of it, you will detect the movement as you look at the stationary object. We don't have 360-degree vision, nor do our aircraft have 360-degree visibility. So when you sit in the aircraft, you will see that straight ahead, slightly below, but all the way above you can see. You have to bend your neck to get to the hard-to-view points directly above, and directly behind you from either side is also very difficult, and directly below you can't see. So sit on the ground in the glider, and you can identify the blind spots and determine how far you actually do have to move your head for a good lookout. Flying can be quite distracting. There's lots of wonderful things to see, lots of wonderful things to do, and sometimes things can attract your attention and you might forget to look at other things. The biggest distraction is aircraft instruments, and we sometimes become fixated on them, so we have to keep training ourselves to look outside most of the time. Other distractions could be clouds, haze, smoke, glares. You could also have airframe distractions like a dirty canopy. You could also have other distractions that will take your mind off these three aviation priorities. Aviate, which means fly the aircraft, navigate and communicate. You might have a passenger or even an instructor that is giving you some distractions. Focus your mind and prioritize your tasks so that you can stay distraction-free. When you first start learning to fly, everything seems to happen, and then you think about it, and then it's in the past. And what's coming next is actually quite difficult to determine. The more experience you get, you can get more situational awareness, knowing what's just has happened, what is happening right now, and planning for what is going to happen next. We call this getting ahead of the aircraft. We control our future by understanding the past and present, and then doing something in the present to create a happy future. You can also see with your ears, which basically means to listen on the radio, but there are other sound things that you can listen to as well for what's going on with the aircraft. But you might hear a radio call from a tow plane that says they're joining circuit. And in your mind, you can say, I roughly know where they are, I know what height they'll approximately be, and if I'm flying towards the aircraft, I can help manage and avoid a conflict with that aircraft because they've let me know where they are, and likewise you can too. When you do see something though, you can use what we call the clock code. So if something's directly ahead of you, you say it's at 12 o'clock. If something's to the right of you, it's 3 o'clock, and somewhere in between it could be 1 or 2 o'clock. We also say, well, it's at 2 o'clock high will mean it's to our right and it's above the horizon somewhere. Or if we say 8 o'clock low, it will be behind us and to the left, but below the horizon. You can let someone else know where you are, or you can also listen out for where they are. Always be on the lookout. If you're about to change what your aircraft is doing, you must look out. If you are doing something that is changing your aircraft, keep looking out. And after you finish changing what your aircraft's doing, then still look out. If you're going straight ahead, if you're turning or climbing or descending, keep looking out. To help manage other aircraft in close proximity with each other, we always have these basic rules. There are some more ones coming later in the course. You pass behind an aircraft, or you keep well clear, at least 200 feet. If you're going to overtake them, you overtake an aircraft on the right. You give way to the right. If an aircraft is on your right, you give way to them. If you're head on, you turn right. And are turning in a particular direction to climb in a thermal, all other gliders will turn in the same direction. Remembering those will help you in your very beginning of learning the rules of the air, and there'll be plenty more coming to help us have a safe interaction in gliding. It's very important that when you do start to learn to fly, you always know who is flying the aeroplane. So if the instructor says to you from the back seat, you have control, you will take hold of the grip of the column and say, I have control. And if the instructor in the back says, I have control, you let go and say, you have control. Please say these very loud or very firmly so that the instructor hears, so that they know who is flying. To grip the aircraft, 2 fingers and a thumb, nice and gentle, is all you need. So in summary, remember to move your head to look out. Remember to prime your brain and expect to see other gliders, even though you may think they're not there. Focus your eyes on fixed points. Identify the blind spots and be sure you don't let an aircraft fly into those spots so you can't see what they're doing. Make sure you manage your distractions, especially by looking outside of the aircraft. Think ahead about where you're going to be and plan your movements so that you'll be where you want to be. If you see something, use the clock code to tell other aircraft or your instructor. Always be on the lookout. Remember those basic rules and remember how to do the handover and takeover. And that concludes our opening discussion on the introduction to Lookout.